It's getting harder and harder to crack games, and game piracy might head to an end. But why is that? Pirate Bay, 3037X, torrents, these are the names that were popping up whenever people wanted to download their completely legitimate games from the internet. Crysis, Assassin's Creed, and even Photoshop were all titles that were just a few clicks away from owning them. But now, piracy is less prevalent with fewer and fewer AAA games that are popping up. But why? A lot of games on the market right now have something which is called DRM, or Digital Rights Management Tool, which is basically like a lock that content creators put on their products to prevent people from sharing them and use them on multiple computers. But back in the day, for those of you who can remember, there were these things called CDs. Remember when you couldn't launch a game unless you had the CD in your computer? This is a form of DRM. License keys as well. Those early forms of protection weren't so great, because most of the games were offline, meaning that even if you got a license key for your favorite game from a friend or just burned the CD, it would still work. A license key would have to be checked against a list of other valid keys. And when a match was found, it would be checked once more to see if that key was activated before. But because the internet wasn't so widespread at the time and physical copies of software were distributed, this method of protection could be easily bypassed. However, all of those things happened more than a decade ago. But fast forward to our current times and we can safely say that things have changed. The killer of all fun is called Denuvo Software Solution, an Austrian company that developed Denuvo Anti-Tamper, which, as the name says, it's an anti-tamper and DRM system. They began developing this software in 2014 and it was introduced with FIFA 15. Denuvo Anti-Tamper and anti-cheat solutions protect games from being debugged, tampered with, cracked, cloned, and from people that are trying to cheat. This is the same company that created Nintendo Switch emulated protection. Piracy costs the gaming industry millions of dollars, so of course softwares like this are needed. I had a look on the internet to see who can crack Denuvo DRM, and some people say that there are only 2 people in the world who can crack it: Empress and another person who only cracks football games. However, the deeper you dig, the most answers you find, and I found a conversation between people that delve in this type of ventures. And a person with the user CHX says that a lot of people could crack Denuvo, but they simply don't want to due to the legal implications and also the fact that it is extremely time-consuming. Of course, this started a whole discussion, and many people say that it is extremely tedious and most probably it would take about 6 months from your life. Another argument by people who wouldn't want to do it is that most games get Denuvo removed in future patches, since it costs money annually to license it. So why bother? There might be more people out there who could do it, but it's just not worth the time. Well, not for Empress, who apparently single-handedly bypassed all the work that Denuvo did for Hogwarts Legacy. She is considered one of the best crackers in the world. She is also often going on rants like the one she did with Hogwarts Legacy, where she is supporting J.K. Rowling's transphobic point of view, which I think is one of the reasons why she cracked the game in the first place, so she can perpetuate the message. The fact is that I agree with intellectual ownership, but there are some cases where the integration of such DRM softwares comes at a disadvantage for the paying customer. Empress, after cracking and removing Denuvo from Hogwarts Legacy, people online saw that this variant of the game actually ran way better than the legit variant of the game. This came at a shock for everyone in the community, and not really, since it made sense. Extra software equals extra processing power equals less FPS in-game. But after a few months, those tests were proven to be invalid. So, were they? Most of those tests were between the same version of the game, the 1.0. A month or 2 later, a few more tests were made, but between the cracked game, which was at the release version, and a more updated Steam edition. So one might think, was the test false? Or the developers just magically fixed the performance issue? We don't know, but it certainly is some food for thought. Now, is piracy good or bad? From my point of view, piracy has its role. There are lots of people out there who saved for a long time to get a computer, or they even got a loan to get a good computer so they can play some games. And it's possible that they can't literally afford the games that they want to play. I believe in that case that piracy is good because it offers this opportunity to those people that can't afford to buy the games. When I was a child, if piracy wouldn't have been a thing, it would have been impossible for me to play 99% of the games that I have played. Now that I can afford to pay for games and support the creators, I also do that. And even if I'm paying, it would be idiotic of me to say that everybody should pay. No, not everybody should pay. People that can afford the game should pay and be morally conscious that this is the right thing to do. And people who would have to choose between their groceries for the week and the game should have the opportunity to have both. Now, is gaming piracy dead? Yes, in the sense that extremely aggressive DRMs are more often incorporated into games. But not in all of them. Sailing the seas is more alive than ever, but AAA games are starting to fade away on your treasure map. If more people would start devoting the time to crack these games, which again, it's a very tedious and time-consuming job, they might reappear on the map. The treasures are rarer now than they were 10 years ago, and sadly DRMs might get more and more popular. Now, don't forget to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding dong the notification bell, leave a comment down below and tell us what you think about piracy, and also our latest 2 videos are right here. Bye!